we're all going to die one day.
Yeah, it's true.
So we live like that. Live like you could die tomorrow. Go for it.
It's a super cool word that's been thrown around by the likes of Elon Musk and other famous scientists and mathematicians. And this word is axioms.
And then I think it's also important to reason from first principles rather than by analogy. So the normal way that we conduct our lives is we reason by analogy. We're doing this because it's like something else that was done, or it's like what other people are doing, and it's kind of mentally easier to reason by analogy rather than from first principles. But by first principles is kind of a physics way of looking at the world, and what that really means is you kind of boil things down to the most fundamental truths, and say, okay, what are we sure is true, or as sure as possible is true, and then reason up from there.
So what does axiom mean? Axiom means a statement or proposition which is regarded as being established, accepted, or self-evidently true. Our founding fathers used an axiom that all men are created equal, and they said that it was self-evidently true. And if you take a look in your life and around the world, it is true. All men were created equal. We're all built of the same DNA, the same atoms, the same stuff and matter. So that's what an axiom is. Here's another example for what an axiom is. So this is a geometry example for an axiom. So it is true that these are two dots. That is a truth. These are 2 points. That's an infallible truth. You can't deny that. And when you connect these 2 points together, you get a line segment. That's a truth. We're building up from one truth to another truth. There is no space or room for assumptions here. So from that one truth, we got to this truth. So AB point equals line segment. That's a truth. That's an example of an axiom. So in this video, I want to talk about axioms for a good, joyful, and happy life.
So the first axioms I want to share are for problem solving. Overcoming problems, and I'm reading it from this book called Axioms of Wisdom. The perfect work of patience is fulfillment, satisfaction, and confidence, whereas impatience produces chaos, waste, and failure. Overcoming problems is done through praise, prayer, and compliance, not through cursing, bitterness, and silence. Now these words resonate so true. Praise is remembering the good that has been done. Prayer is communicating with the one who instructs us to do good. Is communicating to your family, to your loved ones, to your mentor, even if those people aren't around. Prayer is to speak to those people through your heart, to speak to those people no matter what. Compliance is obeying the instruction to do good in the future. Compliance is discipline. Compliance is you've been raised as someone who does good because of your family, because you love your family and you love humanity, and you will do that no matter what. They have some Bible verses in here. So here's a Bible verse. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath, for it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. Therefore, if thine enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For in so doing thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. This is from the Bible. This is like a super old but really, really popular book that sells over and over and over again. And people say, some people hate it, some people love it, but this shit is truth. This is knowledge. How do you defeat evil? How do you defeat hate? Do you defeat hate with hate? You can only defeat hate with love. If someone's being an asshole to you, being an asshole back isn't going to solve that. It is powerful to be kind. You got to be cool to be kind. It is much easier to be mean, right? It is much easier to be mean in the short term, but it is much more powerful to be kind in the long term, and it compounds and it grows. Next is trust. Trust is the city on a hill that is surrounded by fear and doubt. Only verifiable truth should be allowed in or out. Trust is like money. You can spend it all at once and have none, or you can invest it in the bank of integrity and watch it grow. Whew. It's powerful. Integrity, showing up.
Hola.
Hey,
What you doing? Oh, you're
I'm
filming?
reading some Bible verses to myself. Just listen to this, Mom. Listen to this.
Oh, you have been blessed. Oh, Holy One.
Listen to this.
I'm going to go baptize you. I'm going to go get the
Listen
water.
to this. Listen to this. Trust is a two-way street. Those whom you trust and those who trust you.
Here we are.
Trust grows as your integrity proves that you are faithful. Can you stop it?
You just
Can you stop?
You be baptized.
Don't. I don't need to be
I'm
baptized.
baptizing
You're being so
you.
judgmental. God is going to be disappointed.
Oh my God.
Look. Trust is coming to the end of yourself and resting in the words of others. For he that is entered into his rest, he also hath ceased from his own
Is
works,
this what happens
as
when
God
you leave a
did from him.
22-year-old by themselves?
Listen to this. Trust is threatened when you place your faith in what you hear and then fear about another. Trust is believing that I am where I am supposed to be, doing what I'm supposed to be doing, because I am God's workmanship and my times are in his hand. You don't have to, you can replace God with life, and you can replace his with like energy.
That's beautiful. Did you do that?
Yeah.
Okay, why don't you paint? Take your paints out and paint.
So I'm going to end it here. Integrity must be maintained, and here's some steps that he lays out. So for fear, where there is anxiety, apply love. Focus your thoughts on the objects of your affections. Set your affections on things above, not on things on the earth. There is no fear in love, but perfect love casteth out fear, because fear hath torment. He that feareth is not made perfect in love. Failure. Ooh, this is a big one for me. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of the sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. For frustration, he says, where there is exasperation, apply humility. Subjugate your will to the agenda of another, God's will, or life's will. Like, it's really just about surrendering and not taking everything so seriously and being like so attached to your ego and your plan and what you want, and instead realizing that you're part of something greater, you're part of something bigger, or maybe you're part of something smaller, and we live on this little atom of earth, and it is actually really tiny compared to the sun. So you're either part of something smaller or something bigger, and it's just a relief to know that not everything's your responsibility, like not everything's in your power, and maybe like things like for me aren't working out perfectly in the way that I imagine they would be, but like I just have to give myself like the love and the kindness and give myself some grace and realize that this is how things were supposed to be. This is like where free will meets my destiny, and I just have to surrender to the process and learn to enjoy it and learn to love it instead of hate it and be frustrated by it and angry by it, and just kind of sit back and observe it and let it happen in a very graceful way and appreciate it and love it and nurture it, because this life is precious and this life is meaningful, and I'm very grateful to be given the opportunity to live this life and receive this gift. So with that, thank you for watching. Peace.
If you're a Kanye West fan, you're not a fan of me, you're a fan of yourself.